And welcome into the Thursday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Christian Skelton here with you on this Thursday morning, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Get thicker grass, better color, fewer bare spots with turf application. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership with a buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, good morning. Happy Thursday. What's going on?
Happy Thursday. Not too much. The Tigers took 2 out of 3 from the Cubbies, and I've just every day I'm like, it's back. Like yesterday, I'm like, okay, that's it. Just give it up. And then today they win that. They get another good pitching performance from Montero. They're sitting there like 3.5 out of the wild card, I think now at this point. I guess it's 4.5. I'm really on the line here of what they should do. So, but at least I'm acknowledging MLB again.
Yeah, it's a sport again. That's good.
For
4.5
today.
back
For
of
today.
the wild card.
Yeah, for today. They've had someone had a stat like in the last few years. It was something like they've had like 4 months where they were the best team in baseball, or 5 months, and then 4 months where they were the worst team in baseball.
Yeah. It's hard to do.
It's incredible. It's like it's feast or famine. They're kind of feasting a little bit now. They're like actually third in the AL in run differential. So there's my little Tigers update for you.
Good news is the Red Sox lost finally.
Yeah.
After like 15 in a row, they lost.
Yeah, like they were on their way to like an atrociously bad season, and then they ripped off 14 straight to get just over 500.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a long way to go. That's the thing about baseball.
It's a long season.
You can have several seasons in one.
Christian, how we doing? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm still not acknowledging Major League Baseball. I'm a Reds fan, so the season's been over. It's about mid-May for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, Kirk Herbstreit's out there he's just trashing the Reds every chance he gets.
Every time he talks about the Reds, I cannot relate more to him. He's preaching the gospel every time he does that. We had so much promise. 2011, I was so excited, and then now it's just I'm ready to burn it all down at this point.
So it's 27-43 since then. Oh man,
yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not very good. I know a lot of Reds fans too. Not very good. A lot of misery out there.
I'd love to know the exact breakdown here of Braves, Reds. I feel like Cardinals would probably be third.
I think Braves
number
Reds,
1, probably.
Cardinals, Cubs are your 4 for sure.
Okay.
And Braves, I think, are unquestionably number 1. And then I think, who number 2 is can be up for debate after that. I think there are a lot of Reds fans.
There are a lot of Reds
fans. Cardinals fans. Like, I think it's pretty close after that.
Yeah. And of course, being a Braves fan has been pretty good.
Yeah, it's not been bad this year.
Has been pretty good, really, for like 35 years.
Yeah, it's been good for a long time.
Yeah,
no question about that. We were having our discussion yesterday, Joe, about these random sports that used to be on ESPN. Yeah, you turn it on at 2 a.m. There's Australian rules football, or the World Series of Poker was on there, and people were having all these sunglasses on playing poker on television, and people used to actually watch that, which was always kind of amazing to me, but they did. I showed up to my other job yesterday. My buddy Will was like, "Hey, you ever heard of car jitsu?" I was like, "No, I have not. What is that?" So like it's 2 guys in like this compact car that's not very big, and they blow the horn, and you got to unbuckle your seatbelt, and the first person to either get the other person to tap out, knock them out, or throw them out the door or window wins. And I've gone down a YouTube rabbit hole of this. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Car jitsu.
I mean, if I saw this on the grid and I'm like, what? I mean,
what's he talking about?
Yeah, what in the world? You just showed me a clip of it. Like, it's basically sanctioned murder.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much. I mean, they're like wrapping seatbelts around people's neck and choking them out.
I mean, it's crazy.
Close quarters combat.
This would be, if there was ever like an Ocho, like this would be one of the centerpiece.
Yeah, it'd be like the Super Bowl, the Ocho.
Seriously, like, look this up. It's crazy. Like, these dudes are trying to choke each other out with seatbelts.
In a Prius. It's amazing.
Yeah. Then the guy like gets in the back seat, like, oh, now I got some leverage on you. They're wearing mouthpieces, like they're wearing mouthpieces, like they're about to put their helmets on and line up at the line of scrimmage.
I mean, you YouTube this thing, and it's like Russia versus the United States championship car jitsu match. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. So shout out to Will for bringing my attention to car jiu-jitsu.
That goes in that to me, that goes right in the top shelf with like the cheese rolling.
Oh
yeah. I guess, are we counting the running the bulls?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we count it.
Yep, count that. Running the bulls, cheese rolling, car jitsu. What's like the Mount Rushmore of just
obscure
freaking crazy ass sports? What would be the fourth?
That's a good question. I don't know.
If those three are now like they are in a different level. I mean, I guess you could put competitive eating in there, but
have you seen the power slap championships where these people just stand across from each other at a table and take turns slapping each other until they knock each other out?
Yeah,
that one's in there.
Is that really like until you knock someone out?
Oh yeah.
My God. I mean, what's the CTE rate on that sport? Like,
it's got to be
what?
100%. I mean, what? You're just trading blows back and forth.
And
eventually somebody gets knocked out and they fall on the ground.
Maybe that's the one. Yeah. And if there's anything else anyone has something that you can bring our attention to, I mean, like car jitsu,
never on the radar.
I mean, cheese rolling, that'll every year that happens, and like you'll get all kinds of clips of that. Car jitsu. Do we have a start date for this stuff? Like, is this
I don't know.
Pretty new? Because it's pretty amazing, man. It's like basically take part in like a Steven Seagal movie.
Pretty much.
See how you can do.
See who survives. Tennessee lands David Gabriel Georges yesterday, Joe. So they land their 5-star running back. He is, I mean, depending on where you look, I think ESPN's got him at the number 2 running back, number 14 overall prospect in the 2027 class. He's from Baylor in Chattanooga. I think before that he's from Canada. But they beat out Ohio State to land David Gabriel Georges. There's been a intense back and forth between Tennessee fans and Ohio State fans online, but a big get for Josh Heupel and company yesterday.
Yeah, big time win, big time recruiting win. I mean, the guys, I expect him. Freshman running backs. If you're that good, you come in as a freshman, you're ready to go. So I think we're going to see him right away make a difference and at least be on the field, be in the rotation, and probably make some plays for the Vols. And it's interesting. I never would think. As I've kind of read up on this a little bit and noticed the reaction. Like I read this for the show, but Mick Walker covers Ohio State recruiting for Letterman Row. Letterman Row is if you're an Ohio State fan, everybody like Letterman Row is a big, I think that's at some point On 3 bought them, but Mick Walker says Ohio State went all in on David Gabriel Georges. Now he's headed to Tennessee and they have nothing to show for it at running back. How the Buckeyes burned 2 full classes chasing one guy. That's his story for On 3 for Letterman Row. And I'm like, dang, man, Tennessee just, I mean, I never would have guessed that losing a running back would be so damaging to Ohio State, but apparently this one hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State, I was telling you before the show, they've been basically foolproof my entire life, but I guess this is going to be what breaks them, losing David Gabriel Georges to Tennessee. It's over. That run is over in Columbus.
Sorry, guys. Sorry to
pack it up.
Sorry to blow up your whole program. Yeah, but hey, seriously, the big get for Josh Heupel. I know a lot of the back and forth is Ohio State. We Tennessee offered him way more money. Is that true? I don't know, but sometimes that's what you have to do.
Sometimes,
if that's the case, and you were able to make that work, great, good job.
Well, I will say on the offensive side of the ball, you're looking at, I mean, Faison Brandon is a 5-star quarterback recruit, and we'll see, potentially what that looks like this year. You've got Tristan Keys, who I guess is now TK Keys, as a 5-star player, as a receiver, and you now add a 5-star running back to it. So if you're talking like skill position on the offensive side of the ball, there's a lot of talent that Tennessee's getting ready to have.
That's exciting. And so if this offensive line this year is what we think it will be, which is pretty good, and you can keep momentum going there, right? I mean, we did talk in the first few years of Heuepel, like it's time, some of these guys, some of these young offensive linemen, they need to have more of them, develop and turn into functional players. But if you're going to keep it going there, you might have yourself a very dynamic offense here very shortly.
You might. And I mean, we've talked about this kid. I mean, I saw some articles yesterday, like this will be the best running back that Josh Heupel has had at his disposal, basically since he was at Oklahoma and he had Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, which is
long time ago.
Yeah, I think back then maybe he was OC, but I thought he was. I thought he was just QB coach.
I think he was QB coach.
But whatever, he's on the offensive side of the ball, and Adrian Peterson's running the ball, so that counts as you have him as your guy. But yeah, that's kind of a high bar, for anybody who remembers Adrian Peterson in Oklahoma. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Unfair.
Oh, and somebody point out David Sanders as well on that Tennessee offense. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of referring to the skill position, but when you want to go to offensive line,
if you want to go five stars,
that's another one you can throw in there on the offensive side of the ball as well. We're off and running. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. We'll take your reaction to Tennessee beating out Ohio State for running back David Gabriel Georges. Plus, another plan was unveiled yesterday in the NFL that has Joe very worried about a particular aspect of the future of football. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. We have Joe attacking Sweet Tea on the YouTube chat, so you can join in on that if you want to on our YouTube chat.
Well, it's gross. Sweet tea, banana pudding. I don't like those things. Everything else that you can throw at me that would be part of Southern cooking, I mean, I'm all about it, man. I think that's a pretty high hit rate.
It's an incredible oversight of those two things, but yes, it is a high hit rate.
Sweet tea, though, man. I mean,
it just depends on where you get it. Some people do sweet tea very, very well. Some people do it very poorly.
Well, if I could have, like, I like iced tea, and I just like it with nothing. If you can give me some sweet tea that's like a little bit, but I feel like whenever I've had it, it's like, oh, here's a glass of iced tea. Now, here's a big mound of sugar I'm going to pour in it. Enjoy. Nah, this is just way too much. And the banana pudding, I mean, you continue for years now to not bring any in that
it's
you
been a long
claim
time.
is amazing.
Yeah.
So, I'll eat banana pudding. It's just about like 19th on my desserts list. How about you, Christian?
As K-Dot points out, but olive burgers, let's get all over.
Yes. Oh, hell yes.
I agree with Joe. I'm not a fan of either one.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And what about like collard greens and all the other stuff that comes with if you go to a meat and three?
No thanks.
Oh, really?
Green beans, fine with that.
Where are you from?
Here. I've lived in Murfreesboro my whole life, but still, no, I'm good. Just give me normal vegetables: green beans, broccoli, mashed potatoes.
Broccoli, damn. Poutine? You like some poutine? No, okay. I thought maybe we'd get you some Midwestern, some halupkis and stuff like that.
Nah, I can't go that far.
Okay, all right.
This is taking
Christian doesn't like food.
It is an inside joke. Yeah, I do not like a lot of things. Yeah.
Christian eats oxygen. That's good.
So are you like like my daughter, like give me chicken fingers and fries and
I'm happy? It's not that bad. It's mainly just sweet stuff. I really just don't like sweet stuff.
Interesting.
Like
that's probably good for you long term.
I hate soda. That's another thing. Like it's just, I don't know. It's weird. I've just never, just sweet stuff. I don't know. I just don't like it. Never have. It's been a thing since I was a kid.
It probably is.
So Christian will live till he's like 110.
Yeah.
That's good.
As a sugar addict, I can tell you, I'm kind of jealous of you.
The salts still get me. So we'll to be determined on that.
Okay. Yeah. You got to watch that sodium. There's a lot of takes on this. Yeah. Jess says, have you ever seen the amount of sugar goes in a sweet tea? Yeah. I mean, exactly. Like it's just too much. But if you tell me that people do it well, I mean, I'll believe you.
I mean, people do it well. Now, I mean, I'm not going to act like there's not a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there is. So that's just part of it.
I like it. I mean, that's the thing. I am a sugar addict. So it's weird. It's kind of weird that I don't like it, It's just too much for me when I've had it.
All right. Boy, this is
go olive burgers.
Yeah. Let's get after those. Joe, the Kansas City Chiefs unveiled the renderings for their new stadium that is moving from Missouri to Kansas, by the way, that is scheduled to open in 2031, I believe. So Arrowhead will be no more, and there is a new stadium coming for Kansas City. And you guessed it, this one's got a roof on it. So those cold days that the Titans have gone into Arrowhead, and you got Ryan Suckup out there kicking a cinder block of a football because it's 5 degrees out there. Those are limited. Not going to be very many of those moving forward. You got just a few years left before another indoor stadium takes place. That seems to be the trend. I mean, the Titans are losing an outdoor stadium, going to indoor. Kansas City's losing an outdoor stadium, going to indoor. That's the trend all over the place right now. I think Cleveland is doing the same thing. What do you make of Cleveland saying, all right, Arrowhead, move aside. We're going to build a nice indoor stadium coming up.
I just imagine, what if this happened at Lambeau? Can you imagine this happening at Lambeau? Can you imagine Green Bay ever saying, you know what? We build a nice roof stadium here. We have so many more suites. We can have like 3 sports bars in it. We can do we have concerts, blah, blah, blah.
I think the city might legitimately burn down, but no.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever happen because I think that place is so iconic, and I hope it doesn't. I thought the same thing about Arrowhead.
Yeah.
It may not be Lambeau, but I mean, it's pretty close, right?
It's pretty good.
I mean, you're talking about the first 2 Super Bowl participants and tremendous tradition, a lot of legendary games, and just a different kind of place. And like Lambeau, I feel like it's a little bit more college football feel. small town community kind of feel than a lot of these NFL stadiums in big cities. And so if Kansas City's going to give that up, then sure, there's, good old Clark Hunt with his F- rating from the players on the Chiefs. I mean, I'm sure there's a big windfall here in it for him. And some people will like to have the climate control, but you tell me, like, what percentage of Chiefs fans are happy about this?
Well, he claims, Clark Hunt says that, they did a request. He heard several season ticket members in multiple surveys that want this. So I don't know what that means. I mean, I have a theory on this, and somebody on the YouTube chat's already brought it up. I mean, you're seeing all these indoor stadiums. I think it's because a lot of these owners were like, yeah, let's host a Super Bowl. That'd be great. I think that's part of it. Kansas City with Arrowhead, as great as it is, you ain't hosting a Super Bowl in Kansas City in February in an outdoor stadium. With this one, they will. I mean, they'll get it at some point.
They'll get one.
They'll get one.
I don't think they'll get more than that, but we'll see.
Well, and that's what – you brought up Green Bay. That's what makes that different. I mean, Green Bay could build an indoor stadium. They're not hosting the Super Bowl. They don't have the hotel space for it, so it doesn't matter. Like, they can build the indoor stadium all they want, and I have no idea what Kansas City's hotel situation looks like, but there's 5 years. I mean, there's a long time from now until it's completed where they could do it. So that's probably part of this, is all the different events that you can host in indoor stadiums. And unfortunately, that seems to be the way we're going.
I guess because that's kind of where I was. I think, like, down the road, the Bears are going soft too. The Bears are going soft, so the NFC North. I mean, whatever, if the Bears ever actually nail something down, I think it's going to be a roof stadium. So you're going to have the Packers as the only team in the NFC North now with an open air stadium.
Yep.
Down the road in this league, with the Chiefs doing this now, I guess we might be looking at the Packers and the Bills as the only open air, at least only open air teams in colder areas.
Yeah.
I don't know about Cleveland. I mean, I don't know what.
I think they're going to be
talking
indoor
about that, right?
I think
they're
it
talking
is
about that.
Yeah.
It is for sure.
I think it's going to be indoor. So
Cincinnati, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, you count them. You count them in that. That's the very southern tip. Like, it's at the very bottom of Ohio, but I mean, it's still.
It gets colder.
Yeah, it gets cold there. I mean, it's still like 5 hours north of here. And now that you mention it, that's the same thing with Buffalo. Buffalo, they're not going to get a Super Bowl, so I guess they're like, yeah, we'll just go open air. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of sad to me. And as much as, like, there is excitement, and there should be excitement about the stadium here. I mean, I think in a lot of ways it's going to be great. I think that we, as a city, as we've talked about it many times, really have a chance to get in the rotation.
Yeah.
Especially if that first one doesn't happen during an ice storm. I think everything else is going to go great. We're going to knock it out of the park. Don't have an ice storm during that first one to scare people off, and I think we'll get in the rotation. But it's just, there is a little bit of a, like, the NFL going shopping mall here, with some of this stuff that's kind of, and I think one of the biggest things that really bothers me is, for example, I know Chicago is the latest example of this for sure. I don't know about this one or some of the other ones, but Chicago, they're not doing a retractable roof. Chicago, now, look, there's not a lot of the year where it would come in handy, but in September, absolutely. And even into October, like, is it so bad to play like a football game at
55 degrees?
Yeah. That's football. You'd actually be able to retain some feel of that's football. And by the way, if you did that and had grass, which is the hot topic now, it's just mind-numbing. The greed of these owners, the money they are making, it's insane. The valuations on these franchises. And they won't do a retractable roof because it's too expensive. Amy did the same thing. They won't do grass because there's not a player in the league. Well, maybe there's a player. Maybe you can find a player. 90% of them will tell you that it feels totally different if you play every day on grass. You can, the NFL put out some study. Well, I don't know about BS, man. It is better for your players to play on grass, but let's be cheap about that. Let's be cheap about retractable roofs, even though we are absolutely printing money. It's It's actually infuriating.
Well, look, and I understand. I'm conflicted on this because as a fan, like the idea of even here in Nashville going to a game in December. Like I've been to some Titans games in December. I mean, I remember a Christmas night game. I don't know what year it was, maybe 07, something like that. Where I mean, it's like 15 degrees outside. It was cold, and yeah, it was not pleasant.
Yeah.
But so the idea of sitting in December in 72 degrees and not having to worry about packing 75 jackets because you're worried about freezing to death up there is like I that's appealing to me. Like I understand that.
Yep.
I also like one of the plays from my childhood that is still etched in my memory is Eddie George in Cleveland, and I think it was the year I can't remember if it was 99 or 2000. But he's just running away from a bunch of Cleveland Browns. There's a blizzard going on in the game. He broke off like a 75-yarder, and I could still see the play in my head because I was like, look how cool that is. There's a bunch of snow on the ground outside, and Eddie George is just sprinting away from all these people. And we're just, other than Lambeau, I guess, and Buffalo, we're not going to have that moving forward.
Yeah. And I do with the grass part of it only, like Cleveland is an example. Now they made the excuse here, and it got a little rough late in the season. It has gotten rough. It did get rough when it was grass here. Cleveland for sure. When they had grass, like that, I bet you that day half of the field was mud, right? Like so
Probably.
So, but there's a lot of technology, which again has made the turf better and closer, but it's still not the same thing, And yeah, those playoffs, some of those playoff games are some of the most legendary things in NFL history, in Lambeau included, and it's too bad to lose that. But by the way, it also makes me think of college football. Well, we could never have a football game outdoors. Oh, it was what's his name from the Big 12, the former Big 12. I'm like, dude, did you really just say that? Bowlesby. It was Bob Bowlesby. That was a great. See, that was
never play a game in 42 degrees outside.
Who's ever heard of football outdoors in January?
Real strong take there, Bob. 615-737-1025, our phone number. More of your thoughts to get to on the open air stadiums going away in the NFL. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. We'll have the best and worst things in sports coming up here in about 10 minutes on the program. Charles Robinson will be with us for his weekly visit at 8 o'clock on the show today, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Let's head to our phone line. Welcome in Will to the program. Will, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, good morning. I understand it's a money thing, but I think also it speaks to like a societal change a little bit. Anytime you're watching a game and you're streaming, instead of the old days where you had to like wait and then run to the kitchen to get a snack or run to the bathroom in commercial break, now you just hit the pause on it and then do whatever, and it's like nothing ever changed. And then and also, I think this is kind of like the same thing to where people don't appreciate the difference between grass and turf. I'm talking about fans. I can remember it was probably about 10 years ago in Nashville. It may have been the Ryman. I don't remember. I was at a concert. And instead of everyone pulling out their lighters during that like famous ballad and like waving it in the air, everybody had an app on their cell phone of a flame, and they were waving it. And I was like, "What world am I in?" But anyway, that's all I got.
Yep.
Guys.
Thank you, Will.
I've had those moments too. I'm like, oh, okay, just doing the phone thing, huh? Okay, cool. Way better with lighters, man.
Yeah.
This whole grass thing, obviously it's going on. It has much to do with the World Cup, right? We've all just watched the World Cup. All these places, most of them with field turf at this point, had these beautiful grass fields. I missed it. I watched a lot of soccer, but if there was any issue with any of the grass anywhere, I missed it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it was perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
So the technology, you can do it. It costs a little more money. Your players are asking for it, and they're not BSing you. Every player, I mean, anybody go like run a little bit on field turf. It is way better than the old school painted
Concrete,
cement AstroTurf, but it's still not the same as grass. There's not the same amount of give. There's much more, scraping and stuff like that when you fall on it, and it hurts the next day. Every single player will tell you that. So does that matter? Does that matter? Because it's the player safety error, right?
And that's what they say.
I know that they put out like the Titans put out this. It wasn't just the Titans, but they put out this. Well, actually, the injury is. Yeah, come on, man. Let's be real. And again, it's just like, people who cape for the owners, and I saw Stilly doing this, caping for the owners on stuff like this. Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe I don't know. Can this be part of a CBA? Maybe we can ask Charles later. I mean, I guess this could be part of a CBA. But if I'm an individual owner, I might think, you know what? I'm seriously, my net worth is like multiplying on itself right now by owning this NFL team. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this on my own. And maybe there's a free agent or two that we get because I do it. I don't know. Maybe not. But, why not do the right thing?
Well, I mean, it's clear the players want it. I find the money excuse for this pretty laughable. I mean, it is an investment, especially when you've got an indoor stadium, to maintain the grass and get it playable every week. But to act like that's just some out-of-this-world investment that these NFL owners can't make, it's just – I mean, look, we see owners doing it. I mean, the freaking Arizona Cardinals have done it, okay?
Yeah.
Like Arizona brings in grass to that stadium.
They bring in the trays of grass, right, and it's more expensive.
Yeah. So, if the Arizona Cardinals can do it, you can find a way to do it if you're some of these other teams around the league.
Anybody in the league, you're all you're dominating the world. It's really ridiculous, man. And there's really no excuse other than if you just want to say, well, sorry, I'm just not spending that money. It's the same thing with retractable roof. What, here in Nissan Stadium, coming out of the Titans building, it was, the Colts don't use it. Okay, well, first of all, they do use it some. They use it several games a year, typically. I've been there when they've had the roof open. And also, they're 4.5 hours north of here. It's BS. Amy didn't want to spend another $200 million.
Yeah.
Let's check her net worth in 10 years.
Yeah.
$200 million to give people an open-air football experience on a beautiful day in Nashville, and we'll have a whole bunch of them on Sundays coming up. It's ridiculous.
Apparently Memphis is going to play some games here, or at least throwing the idea out there of trying to play some regular season games for the Grizzlies here in Nashville. The first time I heard of this was Adam Silver a few months ago when he was getting asked about like LeBron basically trashing the city of Memphis. And it's like, I don't anticipate we're moving the Grizzlies, but would not mind seeing them play some games in Nashville. And apparently there's going to be a push for that to happen coming up. So, I mean, if I'm a Grizzlies player, I'm like, yeah, screw that. I'm not going 4 hours or 3 hours to the east to go play some of these games. But apparently they're talking about actually doing that.
Yeah, so now this has gotten a lot of traction. I have to say, sometimes, I look at these profiles and it's like, wait, okay, is this real? This is
Silver definitely
said it. Silver said it, but this is a reporter. Evan Sidery, I don't know the name. He says an NBA, NFL, NCAA reporter, 73,000 followers. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, who does this guy work for?
I have no idea.
But he reported on Twitter the Grizzlies are expected to play a few home games next season in Nashville, which could become an annual tradition. Like you said, Silver floated that, and when he floats something, it's like, okay,
he wants it.
This sounds like it's something that's gonna. Like he's getting it ready for that. But I agree with you. Like you're already on the road for 41 games. And so again, you're on the road for how many other home games?
Exactly.
I mean, you're going to get on a flight and
I don't know. Like if you're
in Nashville excited about this?
I mean, I guess I would answer that question by who are they playing against, right? Like who are you playing when you're here? Because I mean, right now, all due respect to Boozer, who just got drafted, I don't know that the Memphis Grizzlies is going to be overly exciting to watch for a couple of years. So I would completely answer that question of would you be excited if you're a Nashville sports fan of who are they playing against when it's here? If it's the Grizzlies taking on the Charlotte Hornets, I'm going to have to pass on that one, I think.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Charlotte.
And if it's Wemby and the Spurs, then people here get excited. Also, if I'm in Memphis, I'm like, really?
Yeah, like, what are we doing?
You screwed us out of this game. I want to go see the Spurs and Wemby.
Which is why I can already tell you one of the matchups, if they do come here, what it'll be. Here come the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings to Nashville. Great. All right. Let's watch that.
I actually will go watch some Darius Acuff, but yeah, in general, that's not great. How about the Warriors? The LeBron and the Warriors? Is that
yeah. Well, maybe that's what they're waiting on the schedule to come out so they can, or LeBron to make his decision so they can make the schedule when they're coming to Nashville.
Everything's waiting on you, LeBron. I was wrong. He didn't do it Wednesday. Someone's saying Draymond said that because Adam Silver basically said, like, please hurry. Now he's going to take like 2 more weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's great. Let's do more of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That would be totally unfair if LeBron, who ripped Memphis,
maybe that's LeBron's demanding. He's like, I need to see the schedule, and I need to make sure that we're not playing in Memphis, and then I'll tell you where I'm signing.
Let me see the open dates at Bridgestone. What's the Pred schedule look like?
Really focusing in on the Predators schedule. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll have the best and worst things in sports coming up next. We'll take your best things, your worst things on our text line. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Christian Skelton here with you on this Thursday morning. It's time for the best and worst things in sports. We'll take your best things, your worst things on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Joe, kick us off with your best and worst things in the world of sports.
Best thing, one more tip of the cap to the World Cup. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was great. Even the Spain-Argentina game, I was locked in on the game. It wasn't the most exciting game. It didn't compare favorably to some of the other matches or games, whatever you want to call them, in the World Cup. But the whole thing was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I'm personally probably not going to adopt like, Chelsea or Manchester United or something like that. I might, dip in and check out like a big game or something along the postseason, maybe a little bit more. I really liked it. I thought they did a great job. The broadcast, like Rebecca Lowe was a great host, and I thought the top announcing team on Fox was really good. And the World Cup final got 66.4 million viewers on Fox and Telemundo combined, 42.5 on Fox, 23.9 on Telemundo. So that's the largest non-Super Bowl sports audience in this country since the 94 Winter Olympics. I mean, just the 42 on Fox, the AFC and NFC title games last year were like 46, 48.
Yep.
That's insane to me. And that tells you something. And I think that there's no question about the momentum of the game overall. What that means, I don't know, but the World Cup was awesome. I forgot my worst. Do I not have a worst? No, my worst in sports is I have to also give one more tip of the cap to the SEC for sounding like idiots. I understand, okay, self-governance, you want to do some things that other leagues don't do. That's fine. That's sort of like doing your own thing.
Sure.
But the fact that any of you and the president of Georgia just seriously, it's still incredible that he's like, well, it would be the national championship if the SEC teams beat each other. Like, you can't truly believe that. The rest of college sports is laughing at you. It's embarrassing. That's my worst in sports.
Christian Skelton, your best and worst things in the world of sports.
All righty. My best, I went with college football atmospheres. I was very worried with, NIL, the portal, playoff expansion, all that stuff, that it would ruin it. Has not ruined it at all. If anything, it's gotten better. The atmospheres are still top notch. My worst, no salary cap in Major League Baseball. That's going to be a big point of discussion here with the new CBA coming up. But it makes, small market fans like myself, a Reds fan, feel like we literally have no path to winning a World Series possible. I mean, you look at the Brewers last year, probably the best team in baseball in the regular season, got mollywopped by the Dodgers in the postseason. It's like, what's the point?
They did. That's going to be a big talking point. And maybe a potential. They need it. Players are vehemently against it.
Even though they should understand that overall it helps them.
You would think, but I remember that's what they at the All-Star game last week. They went interviewed all these guys like, what do you think about the salary cap? No salary cap. And it's like, oh, okay. Let's see how it goes. $2 million. I don't think there's a single one that was like, yeah, I think it might be a good idea.
Right. Well, yeah, let's interview the All-Stars. Like, these
exactly.
This is the small group of players who actually could be adversely affected.
Exactly. So see what that looks like.
I would criticize you, Christian, for not doing something that happened this week. But then again, I mean, Christian, this was actually the right thing for you to do. Like, give me the big picture stuff. So,
that was
yeah.
Yes. Very good stuff there. My best thing in sports. This could be my worst here in about 3 weeks. Training camp is next week, baby. Getting after some football around here. We've almost made it. We got NFL football right around the corner. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy here and be like, hey, you guys don't worry. Hall of Fame game right around the corner, because I will not watch that. But we do have training camp coming up. I'm very excited about it. The worst thing in sports, this will make Ed very happy. Scotty goes through the year, does not win a major. Very disappointing. Finished, I think, second, fourth, and 14th in the majors.
That's a strong year. It's disappointing. But I mean, our guy Ed here is saying the best thing was watching him not make a putt outside of 4 feet.
There's a lot of haters out there.
Scotty hater, huh?
A lot of haters out there.
Wow.
Hate to see it.
I thought about saying Rory from one of my worst things in sports.
Rory?
He's ever since he's won back-to-back at Augusta, he just thinks he's God's gift to golf. He's just so entitled.
Very polarizing.
I wanted to like him, and now he's just making himself so unlikable. I mean, him saying that stuff to Bryson last week. Oh, he's so performative. I'm like, yeah, you're one to talk, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of drama going on in golf out there.
Yeah.
A lot of drama. Let's head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Dylan in Antioch to the program. Dylan, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, good morning, guys. This past weekend, we had the Borchetta Bourbon Music City Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah.
It was out in Wilson County in Gladeville at the Super Speedway out there. My worst thing in sports is that leaving downtown Nashville. They need to get that thing back downtown. I went a few years ago, the last year they had it. I'm not a racing fan, but that was one of the coolest events I've ever been to, seeing those cars flying around, coming over the bridge, like 200 miles an hour. I know the stadium put that on hold because the track goes right through all that, but they need to find a way to get that back downtown, because out in Gladeville, it's in Wilson County, no offense, but it's just an afterthought. And it's so cool. If you've never been, I mean, they need to get it back in downtown. So that's my worst thing. We need to bring that back downtown. And you guys have a great day.
Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it. They tried to, they moved the schedule around too. So, they tried to dip into the World Cup audience, and then the World Cup went into extra time, and then the rain came and it was delayed and pushed till Monday. So it was a tough one there for the race this past week.
Yeah, that's too bad. Redemption with the best. Jason Robinson only re-signing for a year.
1 year, 12
Now
million.
Maverick Bork has a year to convince his former teammate to move east next year. Okay.
Maybe so.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
I don't hate it.
A lot that could happen over the course of the next year. I mean, there are people that are already penciling in Jared Bednar as the next head coach of the Nashville Predators. So Andrew Burnett still has a job, and Bednar may go win the Stanley Cup next year. I have no idea, but I do know some Predators fans are like, yeah, well, I mean, this time next year, Jared Bednar is going to be the head coach of the Preds, and it's going to be awesome. So we'll see.
Didn't know. They're going to bring Patty Roy over here to do something too?
Don't
Patty
know.
Roy will clean up at the arena?
Well, let me tell you this. If they do, you know who we'll have on our show immediately? My guy, Patty Waugh.
Well, then I'll get fired. I will not be able to contain myself. With my hatred.
Oh, man. We get call Darren McCarty back. Get him on the show at the same time.
That might be. Well, we'll both get fired for
that. We'll all get fired at that point. Jared in Spring Hill says Rory at least won. DeChambeau can't win anything. Not as cocky as Tiger was.
So that is a fair rebuttal.
So I'm not a golf guy, but so my understanding is something happened that DeChambeau didn't like, and he complained.
Well,
and he said he was going to leave or something.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm taking my.
He got a 2-stroke penalty leveled against him and acted like he was going to withdraw from the tournament for a second. And Rory was like, "This guy's performative," and he's like, "I don't like it." I mean, he was in the media. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not particularly fond of Bryson." I was like, "Oh, cool."
Okay, so basically, you're a DeChambeau fan.
No, I just think Rory's being a little hypocritical, because he's the same guy that, I mean, you see him at the Ryder Cup last year just crying about all the fans. Like, get over it. It's golf. And it's the one event in golf where the fans are like the fans are in every other sport. Yep. So I'm like, dude, just get over it.
Yeah, I agree that that complaining was like, come on, man, this is not just a regular golf match. So anyway, a lot of golf talk for me.
That's what we're talking about.
Woo!
All right. 615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. There was a question that I was thinking about yesterday, that if we asked it a year ago about a couple of college football coaches around here, the answer would be completely clear, in my opinion. And now, maybe not so much. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Christian Skelton here with you on this Thursday morning, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Property managers, if you manage it, they maintain it. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home with the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Charles Robinson will be with us at 8 o'clock for his weekly visit. We will get into all things NFL with him. So looking forward to that. The RexRant with Joe Rexrode coming up later this hour. So, Joe, SEC Media Days going on this week. We have already seen Josh Heupel and Clark Lee speak earlier this week. And, on the Heupel front particularly, not a whole lot going on on the SEC Media Days front. So that is neither here nor there. But I was thinking about this yesterday. If you would have asked the question this time a year ago, who's the better coach, or which coach would you rather have, Josh Heupel or Clark Lee? To me, the answer would be pretty clear, right? Like this time a year ago, Josh Heupel would have been coming off, a playoff appearance. Now, granted, last offseason, they lost his quarterback, and there were some questions heading into the year. But he was coming off a playoff appearance. Like, he's done some things at Tennessee that have not been done in a long time. And Vanderbilt, although they had just had a nice season with Diego Pavia, I think they got to 7-6 that year with the bowl game. So it was a nice turnaround, but it was nothing compared to what we saw last year for Vanderbilt. So to me, a year ago, if you threw this question out there, the answer would be almost universal. Like, which coach would you rather have, Josh Heupel or Clark Lee? The answer would have been Josh Heupel. Well, fast forward a year later. Heupel, I think, is maybe not on the hot seat, but I do think the fan base is looking at him and they're saying, okay, well, what is this year going to look like? And if it's not great, what does that mean about the future here for Josh Heupel? And meanwhile, Clark Lee is coming off the best year in the history of Vanderbilt football. They win 10 games. They've totally transformed the program, and we'll see kind of what sort of staying power it's got moving forward. But you're feeling pretty good about Clark Lee right now. So I wonder, asking that same question a year later, which coach is better? Which coach would you rather have? What do we make of that heading into the 2026 college football season as it relates to Josh Heupel and Clark Lee?
It's really interesting. It's a really interesting question. If you're going to go by achievement, there's still no comparison. If you're going to go by record, there's no comparison. Also, Josh Heupel at no time in his career had to come into Vanderbilt where it was in 2020 and say, turn that around.
Right.
Not just turn around what it is at this moment, which is, it obviously gotten pretty low at that point, but also turn around basically a century of history, Now, Clark has done that incredibly well, but also he's done it at a time when you can do some things that you never could have done before. So it's a really hard comparison to make. But if you just say, okay, take whatever, this is Kansas State, take a program and whatever conditions you want to say, and it's just as simple as either you have this guy or you have this guy to come in. We know with Josh Heupel, he has an offense that he has – obviously he's been an offensive guy his whole career. He kind of switched from really the Leach air raid stuff to more of the Briles stuff, and obviously it has transformed and it has changed and all that stuff, but it's his identity as a coach.
Yep.
It's so I think with that offense, you are at times making up for a talent deficit, and also I think you avoid upsets better with that offense. So there's something to be said for like that, as that to me is his identity as a coach, and it is quarterback development and maximizing what quarterbacks are. It's pretty good.
Yep.
There's other things that haven't been as good. Clark Lee, the interesting thing about Clark Lee is, to me, his identity as a coach is, I think he's a culture coach. And I think that he is one of the genuine people in coaching in college football. And I think that in this era of the most transactional relationships ever in college sports. I do think someone like that might have more value, again, as long as they can have all the ducks in a row, which Vanderbilt does.
Yep.
He also, to his credit, was not afraid to go out and say, man, we need to do something different. And so he went out and he got this offense and he got this quarterback, and he changed the trajectory by going out there and saying, watching one game and be like, I want that. And I mean, there's a lot of coaches who I think wouldn't, would be afraid to do something like that. I'm talking through all this and I'm still not giving you an answer. I think it's a
hard question to answer.
I think it's really close.
I think it's really close. I think there's such a difference, I think, right now in perception with the two. And obviously, I mean, you're talking about the most recent result is what everybody's going to fall back to. And the bottom line is Clark Lee just did something at Vanderbilt last year that basically, I mean, he's got, I don't want to say he can be there as long as he wants to be now, but Clark Lee has gone from, in a 2-year span, me looking at him and saying, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know that he's going to, man, we had discussions a couple years ago about him getting fired on this show.
Absolutely.
And he's gone from that to, like, if you told me Clark Lee was the head coach at Vanderbilt 12 years from now, I would say, yeah, I could probably see it. So that's a heck of a turnaround in a couple year span. Like, Heupel's not there right now. Heupel's been very successful at Tennessee when you look at the overall picture. They've made the college football playoff. They've beaten Alabama a couple of times. They've won basically, other than the first year, they're winning 8, 9, 10 games every year. And it's been a long time since Tennessee football has been that. So I think there's a level of success that he's reached that, A-Dub on the YouTube chat right now, it's like Tennessee was a crap hole before Heupel got there. And it was for, a decade period of time, decade plus a little bit. But the overall picture of the program, there's a lot of history there. And because of that, it's going to be hard. I mean, Josh Heupel could win a national championship, and he won't be doing something that has not been done at Tennessee. So It's a difficult comparison to make there. I mean, Heupel's future right now, I think, is definitely way more in question than Clark Lee's is. If you force me to pick who the better coach is right now, I mean, I would still lean Heupel, but I think it's very close. Like, I think the offensive identity that you laid out there, like, there's enough body of work at this point, both at Tennessee and even David and back before that. Like, Josh Heupel, wherever he goes, for as long as he wants to coach, is going to have a very productive offense. Like, it's a proven thing at this point. He's going to have a very productive offense. Is he ever going to be the coach that can break through, win the big ones with any sort of regularity, and get Tennessee to a national championship contender? That I have no idea about.
So would the answer, if it's framed in terms of here's a program, same conditions or whatever, you'd pick Heupel?
I would pick Heupel, but it's close.
Age-wise, it's close. Heupel is 48. Clark is 44. So, I mean, they're both young, and I mean, I call it young. Let's all agree that's young. But they have both have a lot of time ahead of them. Yeah, I think, this is one of those things. Of course, like you said, Heupel is sitting at Tennessee, and it could get hot for him there. That's another thing to consider, is that it is harder at Tennessee in terms of the scrutiny. It's much more of a fishbowl. There's there's a lot more interest, people who cover you, different things coming at you. And Vanderbilt is still in a situation of, being out there, like, looking for more coverage,
Yep.
and they're getting it / going to get more as they have success, but it is a different deal. And as you know, it doesn't take long. Tennessee fans they're out there willing to, strangle someone with a seat belt when they love you as your coach, and then boy, will they turn on you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and so, and he may start experiencing that. I mean, 2016 Butch Jones going into the year, the guy's untouchable. Mid 2017, get him the hell out of my face. It was fast. It's very close. I think with Clark Lee also, the next couple of years, because there is the question, and I'm not saying it's not an unfair question of how much did Pavia just sort of accelerate everything, just juice up everything.
Yep.
How much can you maintain that? It's also nice for him in the next couple of years to have this 5-star kid, playing that position. But that's a thing that people look at, and I don't think it's unfair. I think it's oversimplifying it to look at and say Pavia did everything. They've done a lot to improve their program.
Well, I would say the track record in terms of consistency, Heupel has got it, and Clark Lee doesn't yet. That doesn't mean that we won't be talking about at the end of this year. Maybe he's starting to get that right, and I would argue at that point, I think the other people would argue this too. If you can develop a track record of pretty good consistency at Vanderbilt, I mean that's harder to do than it is at Tennessee. It just is. Like it's harder to do that. So I think the question you've thrown out there of pick a program, pick a a middle of the pack program that maybe didn't have all the disadvantages that Vanderbilt at one time had, and didn't have all the resources that Tennessee does have, and you're starting that program with one of these two coaches. Which one would it be? I think you'll find a lot of people that are very staunchly pro Heupel or pro Clark Lee in this discussion. I think it's very close. I think they're two very different coaches. I think the answer is a very close debate here, and I'd lean Heupel, but barely.
Yeah, I guess I might lean Lee, not just to make sure that we have an argument show, because those are very popular.
Oh yes,
but I might lean him just in terms of one. Is there? I agree. I mean, I agree with what you just said, which is like he's going to have a productive offense, but like everything is cyclical schematically, and so is there going to be a time when teams quote unquote figure it out more? I don't know. I think there's some things that offense does that just like as long as you execute, it's going to work. But you could also say that about a lot of offenses, right? I just think with Clark, I do think that like I said, the culture relationship coach, the stronger you are in that area, I do think that has I think it has increased value, even though in a way it's been devalued, which kind of maybe sounds like it doesn't make sense. But like, I think that just retaining people and things like that, look, people leave for a lot of different reasons, but if you actually have like a great environment in your program that you set the tone for, I do think that there's just going to be more retention over time because of that, because people have a good experience. Of course, there's money and people coming at you, all that stuff, but there's a lot of different factors that go into why people leave or stay at programs.
One texter says, so my question to you is, what do you consider a championship contender? I'm not a Tennessee fan, but in my opinion, if you make the playoff, you're a national championship contender. Heupel's gotten the Vols to the playoffs, so saying he'll never get them to being a championship contender is kind of crazy when he has, and I'm not a Vol fan.
Well, the playoff gets big, it gets less and less that you can say that.
Well, I don't think you can say that now. I mean,
right.
There are teams that have made the playoffs that, I mean, definitely were not a contender to win the national championship.
I mean, every year in the NFL, there's a wild card team that we could all look at and say that team is not winning the championship. I mean, some years a wild card team makes a run, but like, no, being in a big playoff like it is now, and it will get bigger, does not automatically make you a contender.
I mean, James Madison made the college football playoff. Were they a championship contender?
And even if you want to say, okay, excluding that, the group of five, anybody else who got in, I do think last year there were, I mean, obviously like Miami was low and they were, but that Tennessee team going into the playoff, did we think that team could have won it all?
No,
I did not.
No, and then
it was a good team.
It very clearly got put on display that they were not a national championship contender when they got beat by 1,000 against Ohio State. 615-737.
There is that
1025, our phone number. A lot more of your thoughts to get to. Clark Lee and Josh Heupel, who would you rather have as coach? More coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, our football offseason coverage presented by Tennessee Brew Works and Parma Tractor and Equipment. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Which coach would you rather have, Josh Heupel or Clark Lee? People talking about the quarterback part of this. One texter said, could Clark Lee make Joey Aguilar look like a good QB? I don't think so, and that's why I would take Josh Heupel. I mean, I guess I don't know the answer to that, but that's that. I mean, if you're talking specifically about quarterback, then yeah, I feel pretty good about Heupel developing a quarterback. That's been his bread and butter as a coach. Not saying that Clark Lee couldn't have made Joey Aguilar play well, but Heupel did.
Yeah, Heupel has a really good track record. Look, he would much rather right now be out there recruiting and telling people, you guys seen what Hendon Hooker's doing in the NFL? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I developed that guy. You see what Joe Milton's doing in the NFL? It hasn't worked out, but you can still look at that and say, okay, so Josh Heupel / Alex Golesh / the Tennessee offense made those guys better than they really are.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's – you probably have to look back in retrospect. I still am mind-boggled when I think back on like what Hendon Hooker did on the field in 2022. And I was at a lot of those games that year, and seeing that and not seeing him have success in the NFL, that's also the reality of like so many great college quarterbacks don't have success in the NFL. Right. But you can, in retrospect, still make that a positive for Heupel. Look what he can take in. I mean, look, Hendon Hooker was not a big recruit, did not work out at Virginia Tech, comes in here and does what he does. So I think the quarterback thing is obviously in his favor. I guess you could also talk with Clark Lee and say, well, Diego Pavia was a 0-star recruit who came from New Mexico State. Are we sure that does Clark Lee get credit for like him?
I mean,
who's not really an NFL. I mean, he might stick in the league and be a backup, but look what he did at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Now, I think one difference also is that Clark Lee went out and got this offense and said, I'd like to try that. Let's do this. He's a defensive guy. He's a defensive coach. That's his side of the ball. And he was a great coordinator at Notre Dame. But that offense is other people, whereas Heupel, that's his baby.
Heupel, it's his baby. And, Jared Springhill's talking about, Lee can mold and adapt schemes to fit what his team does. Heupel never changes his offense. I mean, Heupel changed his offense last year.
Yeah.
It's the same system that they're running, but the offense was different. Like there was way less wide splits. They attacked the middle of the field way more. I mean, he's talked about this. They basically sat down as a staff last year and added a bunch of new stuff to their offense because they felt like the year before there were too many structures that the defense was presenting that they just weren't prepared for. So they both changed their offense. Changing your offense doesn't have to mean you just overhaul your system all the time. And frankly, like if you're Josh Heupel, I think it's easy to look at it and say, well, what in the heck would I overhaul my system for? We're productive on offense every year. Yeah. You can make some changes here and there, but you don't need to overhaul the system.
Right. Like a big, one of the things of Josh Heupel's career was going back to Oklahoma, and he eventually got scapegoated by Bob Stoops, and everybody knows that story, but he was starting to drift toward what he does, and they disagreed on that. And that's a real simplified way to say it. Obviously, the air raid, which Mike Leach brought to Oklahoma, which Josh Heupel quarterback to a national championship, was their offense forever. Yeah. And Heupel started to like this. So he did at one point in his career kind of make that huge change. Once he got fired, he went all the way in on it. I think it was at Utah State, then Missouri. I think that's right. And went all in on it and changed it. So, but he's been more than a decade now. This has been his offense, and I don't see it changing, except that, like you said, he actually has changed. Even in 22, there were some people who were like, well, this is just the Browns. This is the Baylor offensive several years ago. It's the same thing, but it really wasn't. They actually did a lot more stuff that like the Browns Baylor teams didn't do. So he's added to it. But with Clark Lee, it was really like going out and finding an offensive identity. So but part of this is, would you rather, and most people probably would answer offensive, would you rather have a coach who is grounded on the offensive side of the ball or on the defensive side of the ball? Right. They're both important.
Both important. Both can win you some games. And it is, I mean,
Nick Saban is a
not,
defensive guy, by the way, so the greatest coach of all time is on that side of the ball.
Well, and it's also not lost on me that the best season, if you want to just go, I mean, we can have the argument about which Tennessee team was better, 2022 or the one that made the playoff in 2024. But the bottom line is they made the playoff in 2024, and that was probably
because of defense.
Heupel's weakest offensive team. I mean, I say that. They had Dylan Sampson. They ran the ball extremely well that year. But definitely the weakest passing attack they've had was that team.
Yeah. Yeah, defense led the way.
Yeah.
Defense got them there. So that's another.
And then, I mean, frankly, if you want to go, we're talking about Heupel being an offensive guy, Lee being a defensive guy. I mean, the most successful year for Tennessee so far under Heupel, I would argue, was driven by the defense. And the most successful year for Lee so far at Vanderbilt was definitely driven by the offense, and particularly their quarterback in Pavia.
Yeah.
So that part is interesting.
Yeah, it is. Now his defenses have gotten better too. They got to the point where they can get some stops. That's the thing. Early in his career, they were at such a disadvantage, which is what Vanderbilt has been for the most part over the years. So he has benefited from this era. He has taken advantage of this era. And I think it's, if you want to talk about comparing also like what he was able to do, and certainly with the support of his AD and his chancellor, but to get them to like we have to invest. And that really a couple of years ago, or like going into the 24 season, they did a lot to change that. And he had to drive that. Heupel is coaching a program that kind of really made the first big NIL deal. Like they were out front on that stuff too. So I guess maybe that's a wash with when it comes to that, because you have to be a GM too, and you have to be aggressive.
So CBS Sports has ranked the coaches heading in this year, and I think this is from late May, the piece that they put together. I mean, it won't surprise you. Kurt Cignetti is at number 1. Kirby Smart's at number 2. So they've done their top 25 here of the Power 4 college football coaches. They've got Heupel at number 19. Clark Lee is not ranked in the top 25 of this. Now, they've also got like Lincoln Riley hit number 17. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. So there's some names in there that I think are just frankly ridiculous that are in this list. But if you're asking CBS Sports, they've got Heupel and no Lee.
Yep. CBS has Heupel 19, no Clark Lee. They don't have any like honorable mention. ESPN had neither of them in the top 25. They had Lee in their honorable mention or whatever receiving votes, and they did not have Heupel. So I know that some people got mad about that. I mean, it's a really good debate right now. And honestly, if I had that program, I'd feel good about hiring either one of them. I really would. We're obviously going to learn more about Lee. Well, we're going to learn more about both of them the next couple of years.
We are.
I think we know more. Heupel is more of a known
commodity.
He's
for
been
sure.
Doing it a lot more. Lee, of course, the post Pavia era. It's fair to wonder. I agree. Gentry Estes wrote a column this week. I do think people are underrating a little bit, like the overall roster building that has gone on. But you can have that and still lose a lot of games in this league.
Yeah, for sure. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. More of your thoughts on Josh Heupel and Clark Lee, plus a coach at SEC Media Days that actually made it worth watching a little bit. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. 102.5 The Game will have updates each day during SEC Media Days. Today's the last day. Coverage brought to you by Shanco, Tri-State Water, Power, and Air, and the Music City kickoff game featuring Ole Miss, taking on Louisville September the 6th at Nissan Stadium. Get your tickets today at NashvilleSports.com. We got the RexRant with Joe Rexrode coming up here in about 10 minutes. Charles Robinson will be with us at 8 o'clock for his weekly visit.
Can I do a quick pre-rant?
Sure.
Because Chris in Nashville just asked me this question. He says, Joe, do you like the Tigers Black Road jerseys? They are absolute trash. Do you understand? Like, they have one of the great uniforms in sports. Am I biased? Yes, I am. But come on. The Old English G. Also, I love their road unis. Those things. Like last night, I'm watching Tigers Cubs, and Katie's like, like, I'm like, it's the Tiger. It's like, what? Why the hell we want? That's the Tiger. That's the Tigers. I have to explain to you. That's the Detroit Tigers. I know that they have stupid uniforms on, but that's actually the Detroit Tigers. What are we doing?
I think they look pretty good.
No, you don't. You're just trolling me.
I think they look good.
I'd like you to look like the team you are, especially if you play you're in a sport like you've been a team since like the 1800s. Can we? You've had basically the same home uniforms the whole time.
I mean, the more I look at them, the more I like them.
Oh, stop it.
I do. I think they look good.
Absolute trash.
I think they ought to make this permanent.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Is it the dark mode jerseys for Detroit? Just like the Vols do?
Would you like the Vols to be permanently in the smoky grays?
I would not.
Yeah.
But every now and then it's fine.
Yeah. Gross.
By the way, quick side note, I think the Adidas jerseys look great on Tennessee. People were all concerned when they moved from Nike to Adidas. I was like, I mean, it's a Tennessee football jersey. It's going to be hard to screw up that much. But, yeah, I think they look great.
Major upgrade, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they
the
look really good.
font looks so much better.
Major upgrade? All right, I need to look more closely because I've seen it, but I didn't look any different to me. So, wait, the one thing I've complained about with Tennessee is I want outlines on the numbers. They have outlines on the numbers?
They don't, but they look like actual numbers now. Like how the 1s and the 4s on the Nike ones didn't actually look like a 1 and a 4. They do now on the Adidas jersey.
I need a side-by-side. But I did like Heupel's, Heupel rocking the Adidas.
Yeah.
Looks sweet.
Yeah. Nate says, I love the Vols dark mode and smoky grays.
Great. Good for you.
Somebody asking if the
you must hate sports.
Somebody asking if the Baltimore Orioles are going to sue the Tigers.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly. That's exactly who they look like.
Oh, wow, it's the Orioles out there. How about that?
Oh.
One texter says, I think I'm one of the rare patient UT fans. I don't think Heupel should be on the hot seat. Let him work. People need to remember how bad things were before we got here. There are those people who exist. I mean, I would probably classify myself as one of those people heading into the season. And
no, you're one of those people.
We'll see how the season goes, and I may reevaluate at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, look, he's not on any hot seat list now, and he sure shouldn't be. And we'll see. At some point, I think it's fair as a Tennessee fan to say, okay, is this the same texture said, he's raised the floor? No question.
Yeah.
Raised the floor, and that's a big deal because the floor at Tennessee has been way too low at times. And they've been busting through into the basement and, falling on the lap of Vol Twitter users in their mom's basements. That makes no sense, but you get what I'm saying. It's been bad. It's been a joke. He's stabilized that. At some point, do you say, okay, this is about as far as he can go? It's a risk. Let's go get someone who can win a championship. Yep. That may be the case, but you also don't know for sure that he can.
So, Joe, are you convinced after what you saw yesterday that Pete Golding is now the star of SEC Media Days from what you've seen?
I think he's my favorite SEC coach, at least in terms of if we're going to have to put someone at the podium. Let's put Pete Golding at the podium.
We got Lane later today.
That's true.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that is true. But it's almost like Lane is like, I don't know, it's like evil to like him at this point.
Yeah, kind of,
a
little bit.
You kind of feel dirty liking Lane, but I thought Pete Golding was pretty fun.
Well, I had a lot of zingers yesterday, including this one when he was talking about doing some recruiting. Here's what Pete Golding had to say yesterday at SEC Media Days.
Sorry to pick at this again, but how would you fix tampering, or is it something that cannot be fixed in this environment?
Let me put it to you this way, okay? Like so obviously you're a reporter, right? Would you quit your job before interviewing for another job or being offered another job? No, nobody would. But we have a portal that you can go in with a do not contact. I'm going to quit my job where I'm getting paid, and I'm going to go in saying I need a new job, but nobody can call me to interview. Like, what have we created? So we've created it on top of representation for these players, right? That it's their responsibility to make sure they get paid really well, and they also have opportunities. So by design, it's put a lot of people in bad positions. And let's not act like recruiting in college football for the last 100 years is the most moral thing, right, that's ever been existed. I mean, like, what are we talking about here? So I'm really not going to get into my feelings. I don't know how I've been educated to answer this question, right? Does that make sense? It's where we have a great compliance department, right, and all those type of things. But no, I mean, the model obviously has been broken, and I'm all for everybody being on the same playing field and doing the same things. I get it. But I think that's in any job, right? Like coaches, we're under contract. You don't think other ADs are calling us during the year? Same ones that are bitching about all this stuff are the same ones calling coaches, right, to come to other schools, right, and everything. So it's everywhere. It's in every profession. So I'm not saying I've got all the answers. I'm not saying that at all, right? Does that make sense? So we go within the rules of the program, right, and how the flow, just like when you're on the interstate and people are flying by you, what do you start doing? You're damn right you're going to get hit. Right? Does that make sense? In this profession, you're going to get fired. Right? So I'm not saying that, but I think there are a lot of people that are doing an unbelievable job, Greg being one, right, to make sure that, all right, everything's catching up. College football is constantly changing, all those type of things. So hopefully we'll all, decide on what's fair for everybody.
That was Pete Golden yesterday at SEC Media Days. I enjoyed that answer. That was good stuff.
I did too. That was he made good points about recruiting at large, about I mean, basically he said right there that he knows other people who also tampered. So why is he not going to tamper? I mean, right? Like that's basically what it is. Dabo called him out and all that stuff. And I love Dabo for doing that. And there's an investigation. So we'll see. Like, we'll see if there's anything that comes of it. I have my doubts.
I have my doubts as well.
And if there isn't, then again, I'm all for these coaches to continue to do what Dabo did. Very few have the courage to do that. But I also get the coach who would, and someone actually made this, some coach recently made this point. It's like, I would do it if I thought something would come of it.
Right.
Now, is that true? Would you really do it? I don't know. But I get it. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah. What's the point? And also, you better be, like in Dabo's case, I actually believe that he's probably not tampering with other people's players because, I mean, look, he's gotten so much trouble from Clemson fans of, God, are you ever going to use a transfer portal? Like, what's going on? Like, I actually believe Dabo's not doing it. I don't know that I believe that anybody else is not doing it. So that's when you run into, oh, so you want to be hypocritical on that front too? Well, yeah, go ahead and open your mouth about another coach. So that's why nothing will ever get done because of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're right. Like Dabo is probably, I don't know if he's one of the few, who knows? But a lot of these coaches who are like, well, I wouldn't do that because it's really because you're doing it too.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
really
what it is.
That's really why you're not going to say anything, because in some form or fashion you do it too. And it's, there's all these rules in the NFL on contact stuff. And I mean, I think for the most part, they're probably followed. Again, it's so different in pro sports because all the calendar and all the contracts, it's all collectively bargained. So everyone agrees on it. And it's fair. But even in those situations, we know that agents and people talk. And
even before the legal tampering.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Paid professionals in this business, like coaches, they get tampered with from day one.
Yeah, they do. That's how Lane Kiffin ends up at LSU in the middle of the year. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025, The Game. It is time for the Rex Rant, served by the Wine Cellar in Hendersonville. Joe Rexrode's rant of the day.
Was that Dusty May? Wow.
Sure was.
Good. The good old days. That was like, what, 2023? Seems so long ago.
A lot of talk about Australian rules football on the show lately.
Yeah, we have mentioned that a lot, haven't we? So today, I should have done this yesterday, but it hit me in the face, and I just wasn't prepared, okay? So, like, I think we talked about it briefly, and I was like, is that real? And I'm still like, just like earlier, I mentioned that reporter. People are telling me that it is a real reporter. This is a problem. I mean, social media, to your credit, you've gotten off it, Robbie. Like, you really do have to, like, poke and prod at things and be like, is that real? Is that a real person? Is that a, there's the fake, the fake, not John Rothstein account was one of the fake ones. Yeah. Obviously, it uses the exact same face and everything like the fake Adam Schefter, but he put out, Jay Billis is among the layoffs at ESPN. So there's all these people like, oh my God, or, oh yeah. And it's all just totally fake. Like, I think a headline got generated by that from a fake account. So you got to be careful. But I think actually, like, this Pat McAfee album is actually real.
I think it is.
Like, this is absolutely insane. He can't be serious, right?
I think he is.
Again, yesterday, I looked at this and I was just like, okay, well, I couldn't even process it. First of all, let's not. My God, Awful Announcing has this thing, and it has like pictures of him like at the microphone singing.
Now
have you heard him sing?
No, I have not.
Can you imagine him being able to sing at all?
I don't know, man. He's a good performer on his show. Maybe he's a great musician. He's a really good guitar player.
This album cover, The Diary of a Polarizing Figure.
Yeah.
He tweets this yesterday. For as long as I can remember, my mere existence has made people hate my guts. Let me stop you there, Pat. I don't think people hated you just because you existed. You probably did and said things that made people hate you. I don't know. Call me crazy. If you haven't seen this, folks, listeners, there's a picture of him like stroking his chin. It says The Diary of a Polarizing Figure, Pat McAfee. That's got, I guess, a little kid picture of him.
Yeah.
And then it's got like behind him, it says, Dear Diary, you talk too much, you're going to end up working at a gas station. You never sit down. So many things said, only hateful breakthrough. I wonder when I'm dead if they'll ever tell the truth. These are some of the excellent lyrics from your album. Is this a little taste of what we have to come?
Super Bowl halftime show in Nashville. You can add Pat McAfee to the potential artists that could play.
I saw a Pat McAfee fan react to this yesterday, and it was like, well, they said that, a punter could never get into the media. And then they said that he was crazy to leave Barstool.
Yeah.
And they said ESPN should never have paid him this much money. And now you're going to make fun of this album? Yes, dude. Yes, this is not like those other things. What is he doing? Like, is he out of his mind? And here's another thing. You're seriously going to tweet this out on the day of the layoffs?
There is that.
Are you that tone deaf?
I mean, the album's coming out soon, man. You got to prepare yourself. I think it's August 14th is when it's coming out.
Are you literally and figuratively tone deaf? Is the album going to prove your tone deafness literally? And we now see that you are figuratively tone deaf. I know that JJ Watt, like, apparently kind of made a joke on his show, like, oh, they're paying you, whatever. And some people took that seriously, but
oh yeah, there's all sorts of headlines like JJ Watt calls out Pat McAfee for salary and saying, yeah, not really. But
right, he was like, I mean, he was kind of like joking, but like seriously, like they paying you all that money? And Pat said, like, we hate the layoffs, all that stuff, and that's fine. He said what you expect. We talked about it yesterday. It's too simplistic to just sit here and say he's wired. These companies have billions, but you're tweeting out your country album on that day, on the same day that this is happening. Hey, everybody, look at my stupid country album that I'm about to put out. There's a 0.0% chance that this is anything but trash, right?
You think he recorded it in Nashville? You think he went to Music Row, recorded this thing?
I don't know. Probably.
I think there's a chance.
There's a non-zero
Could've launched
chance
here.
Yeah. If anybody,
will you listen to it when it comes out?
I mean, yes, I will, because I have to hear this. I must say, good for you, Pat. I will say that it seems so awful. The entire thing seems like such a terrible idea. I'm not going to be able to resist listening to it. Like, I'm going to have to listen to it. And I think we're probably going to have to play some of it, right?
Might have to.
Like, I think we're going to have to.
So what are you going to do if it's good?
Give me your percentage chance. No. Give me your percentage chance that it's good. Even like not even good, like not horrifically cringy.
I'll go 4%.
Wow. Okay. You are.
Is that high? 4%?
Yes, that's crazy high.
Would you rather listen to Pat McAfee's new album or Maroon 5?
Well, I'd rather listen to Pat McAfee's album because I'm fascinated. And I know Maroon 5 sucks. Like, I already know that. We know what they are, okay? Jess is like, Pat McAfee album? No, God, no. Yeah, it's crazy. And again, like, the serious part of this is, like, really, dude, do this as a Friday news dump. On the day of the layoffs, it probably was a plan. They probably had it planned.
Probably so.
So go ahead and change your plans when a whole bunch of your colleagues, including people who come on your show regularly, get laid off, right?
Yeah.
But I'll be listening.
The first person to download the album will be Rexrode. We'll get a full review. I think we need that. I think we need a full review of the album when it comes out.
My God.
How many songs
I'm going to.
Be?
I don't know. I'm going to listen to every damn song. Drew in Columbia with the text of the day says, I wonder how it will compare to Shark Sandwich, Joe. For people who don't know, that was one of Spinal Tap's albums. It was a 2-word review. Bleep sandwich. That's not real. Is that real?
Rick says, I think McAfee could pull off some Boy George or George Michael. Maybe so. You know?
Okay. Does he have a cover on there?
I kind of hope so.
Do you really want to hurt me? I can't even do a McAfee voice. It's like a dude from Pittsburgh who, like, sounds like he's trying to be from Boston.
Yeah. Charles Robinson coming up next. Take your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Christian Skelton here with you on this Thursday morning. We head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in our friend Charles Robinson to the program, a very dedicated man this morning. Charles, how we doing? What's going on?
I'm doing well. I'm having flashbacks to I'm pretty sure I remember doing a 6 a.m. Mountain Time hit with you guys years ago from Phoenix, right? From camp.
I believe so, yes.
I remember like a listener creating a picture of me sitting in a hotel bed on the telephone. That's why I remember it. I'm sure the show wasn't quite as memorable as that picture.
That would have been DJ Burnside, although I'm sure a memorable show as well, you know?
Yes.
Always.
You sound chipper for being up this early.
Yeah, I love the camp tour. I'm always very, very excited to get out and be on the road. I'll be on the road for probably about 5 weeks and seeing a lot of teams. Jacoby Brissett actually showed up, so that'll be fun to talk about today with the team and watch a little Carson Beck today. Watch some Jeremiah Love. Yeah, I'm excited. This is always the first second I get a chance to actually get out and watch football again, where the preparation actually matters right now. It's always super. It gives me a ton of energy. So, I'm ready to go.
Since you're there, I mean, we were convinced for weeks here that the Titans were going to draft Jeremiah Love, and then obviously he ends up in Arizona, and the Titans don't get the opportunity to draft him. So, what do you think of the situation that he's in, and your expectations for him heading into year one?
Well, their offensive line is a big story, and so I think that's really it's sort of like Ashton Genty, where I think Love's definitely a better player, certainly had a better profile coming into the draft, and you hear a lot of like the Adrian Peterson type of comparisons, but so much of the Cardinals is going to be really structured around how their offensive line pans out, just like it was with Genty in Vegas. And, there's a lot here that could go wrong. I think Brissett showing up is certainly a positive for them. I'll be curious to see what the plan, or kind of hear what the plan is for Carson Beck over the course of the season, because I truly believe they have to get a look at him this year because of the quarterback class that's coming out next year. Brissett's not the long-term answer for the Cardinals, so they have to figure out whether or not Carson Beck's got something to actually put them in a position to be able to hold off in the 2027 draft with a quarterback. And the only way you can do that is obviously to get him in there. And it's not great for Love to have the potential of a rookie quarterback in the backfield with him, but it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. It's going to be a really important season for Monty Ossenfort, which obviously Titans fans are familiar with Monty. This is, as the GM with the Cardinals, I would say I don't think they're really in a rebuild, and I do think the roster is certainly better since Monty's gotten here when you look at the young core that they do have in place. But there's got to be some sense, I think, in the organization that they're not heading into another multi-year rebuild here, that this is more of a, this season and the next really should take the Cardinals where they wanted to go with Monty. And I think if they were to have, let's say, a 3-14 season this year, a 4-13 season this year, I don't know that the partnership between he and the new coaching staff necessarily is something that can withstand that.
I just shared you a Pat McAfee song, so I want you to enjoy that after the segment. It might change your life. You mentioned Monty Ossenfort. That actually brings a question of mine that we've been banging around. So I want to ask it to you this way: what is more likely this year? Okay, 3 things. Okay. Bill Callahan demonstrates that he is in fact still a genius with the Atlanta offensive line. L'Jarius Sneed goes back to Kansas City, and all of a sudden, oh my God, he looks like L'Jarius Sneed at Kansas City before he went to Tennessee. Or Tavondre Sweat goes to the New York Jets and gets in great shape and starts to become this, dominant interior player that the Titans thought they were getting when they drafted him. What's the most likely outcome of those three?
I would lean into Callahan only because I think that he's over the course of his career has been the most proven out of that trio, and he doesn't have to be like, he doesn't have to worry about physically. Has he Snead, is he broken down physically? So that there's that big question. Like, he's at the point in his career where you question whether just the physical toll that has been taken on his body prevents him from being able to step out and do the things that he was able to do early in his career with the Chiefs. With Sweat, he just hasn't proven it. I mean, straight up, like, you have to prove it to me before I can sit there and say, oh, you're going to turn into what. I mean, I hyped him up when I came through. I still remember that. I still thought, this guy was going to be an all-world player with Jeffrey Simmons, and obviously that didn't happen. We can talk about fit or whatever else, but I just say that Callahan, first off, Atlanta's offensive line's got talent. And again, the track record that he has, the fact that he's working with Kevin Stefanski again, I think bodes well for him, which is interesting because I think when they were together in Cleveland, it was there were times where I think I don't want to say there's friction in the relationship, but I would say there were two guys that would challenge each other behind the scenes. But I think in terms of what Callahan's got to work with, and the track record that he's got, I think he'll do well in Atlanta. I actually think Atlanta, low key. I mean, it's not like they had a bad season last year, but I think Atlanta's got a chance to have a pretty good season. We'll see what happens with Tua, and that's going to obviously make or break them. But I do think that they could end up being a team that surprises people this year.
So, Charles, Tyreek Hill, obviously gruesome injury last year, and he posted a YouTube video, I think last night, of him working out and says that he's got no power in his left leg. And, he says, the cheetah will be back. He's planning on coming back to the NFL and playing, but no power. Apparently he was told when he first got the injury, they didn't know if he was going to walk again. So, I mean, it's incredibly serious, obviously, what he's been dealing with. At age 32, with a guy who's been so reliant on just all worldly speed, what do you make of this injury and what it means for his future in the NFL?
I thought it was interesting that he put it out there. First off, I don't know. In my mind, I thought, is he sandbagging a little bit? Like, is he because for him to put it out there, particularly at a time when, he needs a job, he needs a commitment from an NFL team. And everyone's questioning that timeline. And it's not like I've talked to teams extensively about it, but when the injury initially happened, I mean, it was the type that you thought either his career was over or the 2026 season's probably written off, right? And then now you're talking about, okay, 2027, 33-year-old player coming off this injury. Most of his career has been predicated, or a lot of his career success has been predicated on speed. I don't think it's great, and it's. I just say I'd be surprised if he returns anytime in any kind of a timely fashion during the course of the season. Like, I think I'd be surprised if he got in, onto the field before like November, maybe later than that. And then once again, we're talking about, like, when we talk about like an ACL injury, we say, well, there's like a year, or an Achilles injury, there's a year. Like, there's got to be this sort of cushion year where a player comes back, gets confident, maybe starts to return to what they were. Well, Tyreek Hill's career was already it was in a bit of a descent already because of age and because of the fact that he has a diminishing asset in speed that all players lose as they age. And now with the injury on top of it, I could be proven wrong here, but I don't know that he's going to be this, late this season signing for some team. My guess is, in his mind, not my guess, I know in his mind, he would like to be able to look at the landscape and land somewhere with a team that has a playoff shot, has the ability to extend its season into January and maybe February. I think, again, and I've talked to you guys about this before, I think that's the Chiefs, because I think there is still the relationship there, the understanding what he's like to coach as a player. And I think that door, because of the fact that they've rebuilt their wide receiving crew, it's still going to be open late into the season unless, these guys all turn a corner. Rashee Rice becomes what the Chiefs have expected. But I think it's so late in his career for this to happen. And if it is true, he's having a problem with power in that leg. I don't know how that bridge is built to the point of him being a high-level NFL player by, say, November or December.
Okay, Charles, some stadium talk. One, so, you get this latest, roof stadium that the mock-ups have come out, the Kansas City plan. And, to me, that's a shame just because I look at that place almost as untouchable as Lambeau. Not quite, but like that's one of those
pretty close
cathedrals that you hate to see go away. And also it just looks like we're headed toward the Bears, the Browns. We're headed toward just about no open air situations in this league. What do you think about that? And two, we also have the grass conversation, which, I guess some people are like, look, well, if you're going to make it part of the next negotiations that's the owners love that. That'll be the thing that'll not, finally get the 18th game established or whatever. But I would argue that an individual owner could just decide not to be a cheapskate and actually give players what they want. I know that's a crazy idea.
Well, I think you knew this it was so funny because when the World Cup, took place, even before, in the run-up to it, it was interesting. I was talking to someone who was doing a piece on the grass fields and everything and how and I thought, I literally had the conversation where I said, this is what all the NFL players are going to be talking about coming out of this. So it's going to be this big conversation about why can't we do this in the NFL? Why can't we all have, these fields that even if you're in a dome, you have the removable tray that you can slide outside so it gets the proper care. Why is it possible for FIFA, but not possible for the NFL to have it 24/7? And you say owners are being cheapskates and give the players what they want. Well, first off, I will tell you this, and I am very confident I'm right about this. I don't think that's the thing that the NFL players will trade for the 18th game. There's no way. I'm going to tell you.
It could be part of it, though, right? I guess it could be part of the package, right?
Yeah, but I'll say, I just don't think it's going to be about money for the union and for players. Like that 18th game, it's going to be about, you'll get a bigger piece of the financial pie. This is where salaries will go. They'll structure out and show the salary models. And hey, if you're a quarterback, you want to make $100 million a season, the 18th game's got to happen. If you want, to cross that threshold, your position to cross that threshold in the next 10 years, or cross the $75 to $80 million top of the heap threshold, and quarterbacks can have some sway, in those rooms. But it's really going to be about how the lower end players will see their financial futures enriched. It won't have anything to do with fields. As you say, they'll throw it in. It'll be part of the conversation. But people look at this and they look at the grass fields and they say, well, it's the maintenance fees. That's why the owners aren't doing it. It's because it costs this amount. It's not why they don't have grass fields, number one, and it's not why there are domed stadiums that we're basically going to be looking, I would guess, in the next 20 years. It'll be the end of, other than Green Bay, there will be a couple
Buffalo.
of holdouts. Right. Green Bay, Buffalo, obviously Buffalo because of the new stadium that's being built now. But there will be a couple of holdouts. Everybody else will be dome stadiums. It's not because they're cheapskates. It's because they're greedy. It's because there's 365 days a year. And if you're in a cold weather city, you have to be able to have events.
Totally. I get that. So, okay, fine. So spend the money on the grass and spend the money on retractable roofs, which the cheap owner in this town did not do. And we could have had a bunch of open air, great football games, and Kansas City could have the same thing. It's just, there's no excuse for this. Yeah, they're greedy. And by the way, their greed is paying off tremendously well.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's the reason why, you see every franchise. I mean, the Cowboys are going to be worth, $25 billion inside the next 10 years. And We can have this, argument until we're blue in the face. I'm for it. I'm completely for open air stadiums. I hate the fact that Arrowhead would ever be a dome. It blows my mind. And you mentioned others, Chicago, Cleveland. It makes, to me, fine, rebuild stadiums, move them wherever. I don't even care if the Bears are in Indiana, but don't turn it into a dome stadium experience.
If you have retractable roofs and grass, you can at least recreate an actual football environment at times.
I would also
you have the money to do this.
Yeah, and the owners talk to each other too. And let me tell you, NRG in Houston, retractable. It's like you can open that roof. I'm sure they have conversations about how often that actually happens. These retractable roofs exist, and then nobody wants to ever open the roof for any events. And I get it. I'm not taking the opposing side to you at all. I totally understand it, but it's a league that is 100% guided by the financial bottom line, and that even goes for players too. I mean, there's a reason why when you look at salaries exploding, players can complain all they want, but the 17th game getting added was a huge component to where their salaries have ultimately gone, and where some of the benefits packages, well, not some, all the benefits packages for lower rung players have been improved. And that's what makes the decisions. From a sporting standpoint, an experience standpoint, somebody who's covered the league for a couple of decades, a lot of the great games I've seen were outside games. They were on grass fields. I'm 100% for it, but I just think that we're spitting in the wind when we don't just realize that the league is ultimately going to be driven by where the finances go. And one FIFA, one World Cup rotation is not ultimately going to change this. Now, I would be curious I wonder if you could get grass fields, and then the dome stadiums become more attractive, if the World Cup would cut the NFL in on, basically say, hey, like Super Bowl rotations, America becomes a rotation in the World Cup, like a consistent staple rotation, right? We know there's always going to be a Super Bowl in Miami. We know there's always going to be a Super Bowl in LA. What if there's some kind of an agreement that is made between the league and FIFA that, hey, America, every, third rotation, you're coming to America for the World Cup, and we're going to cut the NFL in on this so that all these stadiums, there's a bigger push to maintain grass fields, a bigger push to everybody having a domed stadium, makes some sense. That to me, I think would move the needle far more quickly than, any complaining by the players, or certainly us complaining about this as, on radio or writing about it.
So Charles, Cam Scadaboo did his best Nastia Lukin impression at Fanatics Fest last weekend, coming off the fractured fibula, ruptured deltoid ligament, and dislocated ankle injury that ended his season last year. What do you make of not only that, doing the backflip, but basically him saying after that, like, I'm not going to change who I am? It just seems like the head is filled with a lot of air and maybe not enough brain power.
It's him, right? To me, when he says things like that and the backflip, and then falling down afterward in the midst of it, that's him. That's who he's always been. That's who he was coming out of Arizona State. There's a reason why I think he fell in the draft, and it wasn't, and when I say fell, I mean he was certainly a productive enough player that I remember there were some teams that liked him maybe in the second round, and this is a guy that slid down the draft board. I think it's because people look at him like there's a shelf life. The way he plays, his mentality is going to have it's going to lead to a shortened career if he maintains sort of this thought process that he has right now. But this is how he became who he became.
Yeah.
This is the player that you don't, if you remove that mentality, if you remove the physicality that he plays with, I always remember having a conversation with Edgerrin James years and years ago, the Colts running back, and he told me, one of the things he said to me was, my first year or two in the league, I would do anything it took to get that extra yard. He was like, I didn't care the punishment it took. He said, by year 3, I figured out I can't do that. He's like, I knew I couldn't play a long time in this league once I realized that extra yard is not worth the damage it inflicts upon me. And that's ultimately how he became a Hall of Fame caliber player, was measuring himself and knowing that his health was more important than an extra yard 2 or 3 times a game for the hits he was going to take in the process. Scadaboo's got to get, I think he's got to get to that point. Maybe that will take another injury. I'll be very curious to see what he looks like on the field this year. We don't know what the ramifications are really going to be on the football field for him as he recovers from that, which was pretty, obviously, extremely gruesome injury. Anytime you get hit and your foot is literally pointed in, 180 degrees in the wrong direction from where it should be. But yeah, the flip, the Giants will talk to him about that, and whether or not he listens is up to him. But there certainly will be a conversation about, hey, you can't do that. You can't, there's certain things you can't be doing, and you can't be doing it for fans. You can't be doing it for, the likes and everybody that's got eyeballs on you. But I'll ask you guys, do you really think he's the same player if you get him to change that mentality?
Probably not.
Yeah. So what do? Like, you ride it out for what it is, right? Like if that's what makes him who he is, you let him be who he's going to be, and you just prepare. It's also the running back position, right? Don't teams work? Every team already prepares for this with all the running backs as it is.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at the running. Even I'm out here with the Cardinals today, and one of the questions certainly I will have is, you're paying Jeremiah Love at the top of the pay scale. How do you make him last? Because he's got to last to be worth that, right? And it's part of the mentality of that guy, and I wouldn't change it. I would just prepare for it, and you better always have 2 or 3 other running backs ready to go if you're the Giants, because I think I will say this now, and I'll ask both of you this: over under on him, let's say for the season, 15 games. You over that? Or you under that?
Under.
Yeah, I'm definitely under.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want the mentality, but I'm going to fine him for just about everything he does and says. See if that works.
No more drinking out of his cleat on live streams. Just again, one of the oddly
like if you throw up during a game, at least do it in a trash can, before you go back out on the field. Okay. Is Minnesota, Charles, is it a competition or not?
No.
Okay, because there's people still trying to push that. Okay, yeah. All right, fine. If that's a quick no, let me pivot then. When does Fernando Mendoza make his first start with the Raiders?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's such a good question. I thought for sure after last offseason and spending time with people around Mendoza and Cousins, I really thought in my mind maybe Mendoza doesn't get in until November. Like, it really felt like they wanted to lean into Cousins and take their time and get him comfortable taking snaps under center, because he'd never done that. It's going to be on Mendoza. I mean, if Mendoza plays well and he shows that he can carry what Clint Kubiak needs him to carry into the game immediately, they won't hold that back, even though they did sign Cousins and they paid him $20 million. Effectively, he's earning $20 million this season, even though they're not paying all of it. It's still, you don't hold Mendoza back when he's ready. So the second that he's got the opportunity to go out and play games and not just manage them, not just, the worry being, can he protect himself? I mean, if he's reading things, if he's accurate, if he's keeping himself upright, and he's seeing everything that he's got to see to operate that offense, they'll put him in. I think he starts week 1, but I think he'll have to definitely show that in camp. And I don't think he's there yet. I think a lot of this, I'll be curious to see if it gets the amount of coverage that probably deserves, but I really truly believe him taking snaps under center and turning his back on the defense is going to be the biggest impediment for him getting in there as a rookie. It's such a huge change for him to do it with some fluidity, and then also have the ability to turn your back on defense, immediately look forward and diagnose, not only know what was going to happen while your back was turned, but diagnose everything you need to see at, the snap of a finger. The second you turn your head back around again, that's going to be what I think will really drive whether or not he gets in there quickly. But I'll tell you, I swear when the Raiders made that move with Cousins, the thought process was, we'll probably not take a look at Fernando at the earliest. It was like a November, December kind of timeline. That's sort of the train they wanted him on. I don't know if that'll change, and that has to be Mendoza who changes.
Charles, before we let you go, I do just an observation from me. I did not have Tom Brady slapping Logan Paul or Aaron Rodgers reuniting with his family on my bingo card this offseason, but we got both this week.
Yeah. Shocking. I mean, I not the Brady thing. The Brady thing isn't.
Is it not a little bit?
Here's my thing with Brady, and I'm curious if you guys agree with me on this. I think the thing with Brady is everything he does in his mind is a competition, everything. And I thought to myself, like, he's going to turn the TV thing into a competition. He's going to turn the I'm in front of the camera thing into a competition. What I didn't expect was he would take it beyond just the broadcast,
right?
The Fox booth stuff. But now that we're seeing what we're seeing with him, which is he has really been out there this offseason. I mean, obviously the Logan Paul slap and the whole, the WWE stuff, and it feels bizarre. But because of who Brady is, I think the second he stepped in front of the camera, it was going to go beyond just the booth, and that was going to be the part of his life that he really competed in. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. It's weird to say it's a competitive part of him, but I believe that. I think that's why he's everywhere. I think that's why I can't believe the number of interviews he's done with, frankly, some of the things he said on the interviews too, over the course of this offseason. But what hasn't happened is him being this instrumental pillar inside the Raiders building, pushing the build there. I would say that's what we've learned this offseason, is that he's taken a pretty decent step back from that. And I think the Raiders are somewhat okay with that because they want the general manager, John Spytek, to be seen as sort of the architect there, not Tom Brady, as we've talked about. I don't think the Raiders are necessarily upset with that. And I don't think this is going to end. Like, I don't think this is some little off-season thing that we're seeing with Brady and then it won't happen again. I think this is who he's going to grow into. And I know that just absolutely, it absolutely thrills you. What else were we talking about?
Rodgers reuniting with the family. Like, just a heck of a week on the quarterback front.
Heartwarming.
Go back and watch Enigma. His celebrity, celebutainment documentary that he did for Netflix. Go back and watch that and rewatch the part about his family. I did not think that was something that was ultimately going to be fixable. I think that shocked me. It really did, just because, after hearing the stories for years and years, seeing the stories written, hearing a lot of the details behind the scenes, and then seeing him put it into the documentary the way that he did. I'd be curious if the documentary maybe had something to do with that, because I think it was, from what I understood, talking to people that over the years have been close to Rodgers, that was probably the first time his family was able to see him fully expound on how he felt about his family, what caused it to be that way for him, and then sort of how it changed his life approach and interacting with him. So maybe they saw that on the documentary and they thought, okay, maybe we understand this a little bit more. But yeah, it was definitely a big surprise. This is Aaron Rodgers, I guess, transitioning into his post NFL career.
Guess so.
He'll be slapping Logan Paul before we know
it. That's right. That's right. Well, Charles, have fun out there at camp. We will talk to you next week. Appreciate your time as always, and have a good weekend, buddy. We'll see you next week.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Have a good week.
Absolutely. Charles Robinson with us every Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. We'll react to what Charles had to say. Coming up next, take your thoughts on all things NFL. There is a former Predators nemesis that is now a Predators nemesis again. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. So there you go. There's Pat McAfee's song. I don't know. Is it better or worse than you thought? It's about in the neighborhood of what I thought it might be.
I love it. It is amazing. I cannot wait to dig into this entire album. My goodness. I mean, the words alone. The shout out.
Good beat to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Awful Announcing. See if I can find this. This is worth a read, man. Sean Keeley. Oh, wait a minute. This goes back to like, this came out like months ago. Is that right?
This album or that song?
Apparently this song.
That song in particular, it said 7 months ago. The album, to be determined. I don't know about that. I guess the album's about to come out.
Okay, so this song has been out for a long time. I didn't realize that.
Good to know.
Sean Keeley on Awful Announcing back in December, like broke down the lyrics of the song and sort of like analyzed them. It's very good. Awful Announcing. Check it out. I'm reading through it and it is absolute gold, man. Dookie. That's the name of this song that we just played, Dookie, which, by the way,
fitting.
Yeah, yeah, but that's the name of a great album by a great band called Green Day that came out in 1993. And you're stealing Dookie, Pat? Do you think you have, do you think you have ownership of the word Dookie?
I don't know.
Actually, after this song, you may. You may, my friend.
We'll see. It kind of sets the tone. I'm excited for the rest of the album. We'll see what it looks like.
To Eugene, smoking on some new green. I mean, this is like Paul Kuharsky lyrics, you know?
It is. Kuharsky might enjoy this. Contributor of the Pat McAfee program, Paul Kuharsky.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's been
Paul
on
Kuharsky.
Yeah. He's frequent mention on Pat McAfee program.
Pat, did you buy a quarter ounce off Paul Kuharsky?
I mentioned a former nemesis of the Nashville Predators back in the fold. Patrick Kane has re-signed in Chicago, so he is back with the Chicago Blackhawks after a temporary hiatus with the New York Rangers and then the Detroit Red Wings. Patrick Kane back in Chicago on a 2-year, $8 million deal.
Man, so you hear that and you're like, "Gosh, really? 2-year, $8 million right now?" But that is sign of the time. That's sign of the times in the NHL.
He's 37. He will be 38 in November.
If you're him, I don't know. I don't know if I would.
I mean, it's got to be just wanting to
just wrap it up and be and just be,
because I think he was kind of battling back and forth between whether to just go ahead and sign in Chicago or to close it out in Buffalo,
his hometown.
Which I was like, I mean, I'd sign in Buffalo, but that's just me because they're pretty good.
They're good.
And I don't know when Chicago's going to be good, but he chose to go with Chicago. I mean, look, he only played 67 games last year. He still put up 57 points. I mean, he's skill.
Play. Yeah, he can still play. Maybe his mentorship will be the difference for Connor Bedard.
Well, maybe so.
So you can hate him if you probably hate them anyway, and maybe you hate Red Wings players more than Blackhawks players. But if not, you can hate him even more now, Preds fans.
I think the majority of Predators fans grew to hate Chicago more than they did the Red Wings. So I think Kane, there's an argument. He's probably, I don't know if he's the most hated player in the history of the Predators fan base, but he's probably top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah.
Man, that's lofty territory. Let me quickly, Logan on the YouTube chat says, Rexrode thinks Creed is awful but likes Green Day. No words. I'm glad you have no words. Please continue to give us no words, Logan. Please continue. No more words from you.
I like both. I think Creed's good. I think Green Day's good.
That's also a bad take, but it's not as bad as Logan's take. You don't think Creed's good. You're
just trolling times me. That I do think Creed is good. Creed is good.
I don't believe you.
I like Creed. I like Nickelback. I think people hate them just because they think they're cool.
I agree with
Scott Stapp, close personal friend of the program.
I agree with your Nickelback take. It's like it's just like popular to make fun of them. I don't think they're good, but it's popular to make fun of them. But I don't believe your Creed take. They suck. I know they suck. We all know they suck. They
still, to this day, have the greatest halftime show performance in the history of sports. Back in Thanksgiving Day of 2002 or whatever it was, when they're flying around out there at Old Texas Stadium with Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sure thing. Going out to Eugene, smoking on some
I don't know if that made me more or less excited for the rest of the McAfee album.
I'm legitimately going to listen to the whole thing, and I'm gonna at some point come with my favorite little lyrical, my favorite lyrical turns of phrase, and I'm sure there'll be some. I mean, real quick in this one, like this guy Sean Keeley goes through. Man, he says, "Yeah, you hating, farts," except it's not that, He says that word a lot in this song. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
somebody wanted us to do like a live reaction, just start playing like when the album comes out, start playing the songs, but we can't do that because
we have to
bleep
it out.
everything.
Yeah, we got to bleep it first. So.
Ian, you have sent it to Charles, like that song, and Charles Robinson, our personal text line. I have no words on this one. It's a good way to sum it up. We'll continue to react to what Charles Robinson had to say, including some interesting takes on both Fernando Mendoza and Rexrode's. You should have seen Rexrode's face when he started talking about Brady being out there and doing this slapping stuff more. It's going to be fun. We'll get more into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Well, that'll get people going. Final segment of the day, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Some song bringing us back in here.
Yes. A hated song. Oh, God.
David from Watertown says top 3 hated members of the NHL for his Predator fandom: Corey Perry, Patty Kane, Ryan Suter. Suter making the top 3.
Wow. Okay.
A lot of people
wouldn't have guessed that. I know everybody loves Boonham. Loves
Kessler.
Boonham. Yeah, it's gonna be Kessler, right? Kessler, Perry, Kane.
Probably in some order, yeah.
Yeah. What is the order? Probably. I think Perry.
Perry might be number
I think
one.
Perry.
Yeah.
Perry's number 1.
Still going.
Man. Yeah.
So it's Kane.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's just screaming going on about Green Day. Sorry, I brought up Green Day. Jeez, man. Calm down. People are like, they hate America. Like, when is Green Day talks? Like, when do they talk?
Yeah.
I love their album from 1994.
You guys are paying way too much attention to what musicians say.
Jeez.
What do we make of what Charles had to say about Brady and the idea that, hey, you know what? This is just part of his competitive gene, and he's going to lean more into this. We're going to start seeing Brady doing all this kind of stuff, all these interviews, and I guess slapping Logan Paul around a little bit more.
I mean, I hope he's wrong. Because seriously, we are headed toward 10 years from now. Everybody's saying, wow, Aaron Rodgers, what a kind. He's a really mature. He's a family man. He's just chilling out. And meanwhile,
Brady's wild.
Tom Brady's out here trying to strangle mother farters with a seatbelt.
I need Brady to participate in car jitsu.
Car jitsu, man. For anybody who missed the first segment, Robby brought car jitsu to the conversation. It
YouTube
is amazing stuff. It is like trying to be in your own John Claude Van Damme movie.
It is.
It is. It's amazing. No, the Brady stuff's stupid. And yeah, Nate was like, "What if he does an album?" I'm sure it'd be a similar quality to this McAfee album, but. Like, what is also what? So, like, Logan Paul has something where he's like, "Oh, the NFL's a bunch of mediocre, whatever. I'm gonna go in the NFL." Like, is this all part of it? Is this all part of the whole ruse here with him and Brady, or is he actually going to try out for an NFL team? Is he actually going to be George?
I mean, Logan Paul, after he got slapped by Brady, apparently, I just Googled Logan Paul, and the most recent headline is he wants to fight Conor McGregor in WWE.
Yeah,
So,
you should get him right now while his leg is completely shredded.
Detached.
Yeah, and he's 1,000,000 years old and, not snorting, whatever. Yeah, what a freaking disaster.
So apparently Lane Kiffin hopped on the stage at the SEC Media Days and like basically filibustered for 25 minutes and took 2 or 3 questions, and that was it.
That's what cowards do. That's what a coach does.
I mean, what's he afraid of on the question front? They're going to ask him about Ole Miss. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So what are you afraid of?
I have no idea. Very weak of Lane. Yeah, it's like I said earlier this week. Dan Mullen had an all-timer, man. He knew that people just wanted to ask about Jeffrey Simmons and the incident in high school, and so he just talked all day. And then I think the first question was about that, and then he was like, "I have no comment." So it's like, okay, you were going to do that anyway. What? Like,
just move on.
Yeah. So Lane has gone the cowardly route, filibuster, and try to avoid questions. Very disappointing, Lane. Doesn't speak well of your pending failure to bring the national championship to LSU that everybody expects immediately.
I mean, again, like they're going to ask him about leaving Ole Miss and probably what he thinks about going back to Ole Miss here in a few weeks. Like, Lane Kiffin hasn't answered questions like that before.
Yeah.
I mean, he relishes questions like that. What are we talking about?
Right. Like, is there anything else that's like controversial?
No.
Or, I mean, LSU.
How good do you think Sam Levitt's going to be this year? I mean,
do you like Will Wade?
Yeah.
Have you and Kim Mulkey hung out yet?
Have you guys had lunch yet? I don't know. I mean, he talked forever. Saban's on the SEC network. I think he's been talking for like 5 minutes straight right now in response to Lane Kiffin. So there you go. Saban and Kiffin always attached at the hip.
As you said, and it's more pronounced when you don't hear the sound, but Saban is maybe the most aggressive hand talker
ever
in sports.
Yes, I've ever seen.
Everything
he never puts his hands down when he's talking.
It's like a mime.
Yeah.
Like,
that's Nashville Predators owner Nick Saban.
That's right.
Which they do not flash on the screen on the SEC network, which I need them to start doing. Yes, he's, I guess, a pretty accomplished football coach, but he is now the current owner of the Nashville Predators, part owner.
That you would think that would get
some play?
noticed. That would get a little bit of a mention.
You think they'd get some play?
Yeah.
He hired Chris McFarland. That's the story I'm going with. He hired him. So we'll see if Lane has anything interesting to say throughout the rest of the day here today. But I guess we got Sark coming up later too. That could be interesting. It is they did this on purpose. It is a relatively attractive last day of SEC Media Days in terms of the coaches who could say stuff.
Yeah. And Texas has, by the way, for anybody who hasn't seen this, but Texas has the kid trying to come back who was in an NFL camp.
Yep.
We're getting all the guys who there's always going to be someone screwed. And of course, so the outgoing seniors with the 5-for-5 thing, right? They're going to lose out. Someone's going to lose out. They're losing out. Some basketball players have got an injunction at this point to try to, and some of them may come back into college basketball next year. So this guy's trying to do that. And of course, I don't believe we've ever had a situation where someone was in an NFL camp who then played college football after that. So we may have another first.
Texas
college sports.
Lane, what do you think you'll get hit with first in your return to Ole Miss? Will it be golf ball? You think it'll be a pack of Marlboros out there? What do you think?
I mean, they're going to throw like entire chickens at them or something, right? Like they're going to take it to another level. I'm sure they'll be like, how people sneak in, the catfish here, they sneak in the octopus in Detroit.
Here's a roasted duck that's been thrown Lane Kiffin's way.
Here's a small baby goat. I'm going to throw at you, Lane.
That one is a night game, is it not?
Oh, yeah.
Night
game.
Yeah, it could be spicy.
Sure. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because they don't tailgate much down there in the Grove.
No,
so,
I'm sure there won't be. Yeah. They'll probably hire some extra security that day. That's just me.
Charles, I'm just catching up on Charles's text here about McAfee's. This is truly amazing stuff, man. I can't wait to get this all out. When's it say come out? You said August something?
I think it's August the 14th.
I can't wait that long. I got to wait 3 weeks for this McAfee album. Is he going to leak out a song like a week or something like that, like T Swift does?
At least at that
leak
point,
one out.
We'll be deep enough into training camp where they'll be like, "All right, let's move on from training camp." But we got the McAfee album to carry us through. That'll be good.
I mean, I feel like we need to feature a song every day. But yeah, by then we'll be like second half of August. It's just totally, just almost as sick of everything as we are now. Because training camp means nothing.
Yeah.
And I think we need to feature a different McAfee song every day.
I agree.
Let's do it.
Yep. LSU Ole Miss at 6:30 on ABC that night. You can get in for as low as $551 right now.
Jeez.
That's good.
My goodness.
Not a whole lot of great games that day either. So it kind of sets the stage for a doozy. I bet that one will have some ratings that night.
Yep.
LSU and Ole Miss.
I think I'll be there. So I haven't been told for sure, but that's my plan. I mean, I have a hotel room in Tupelo, so
that's good.
Yeah, that's as close as I could get for less than $500,000 for a hotel room.
A decent lead into the game too. You got Florida State at Alabama leading into it. So there you go.
That's interesting. Don't lose the Florida State again, Kalen. Yeah, that week is fine. Again, it's that week one is just atrocious. Hey, Ian has weighed in on the. Ian has come in on the chat and is telling Logan to shut your mouth, and I agree, Ian. Now go back and enjoy your vacation. But when Ian comes into the chat and tells you to shut up, you need to shut up.
That does it for us today. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.